look good if I'm doing this.
Okay. So we are
Is this going to work for you? Do you need light like that?
Oh, no, we're good. Yeah, we're good. This is, let's roll in here. I'm going to put this on. Okay. So we're just looking at Marcia's process here. And so when I talk about the extreme realism, this is just, you can see why I thought that this was something that a forensic artist would be envy of. And you're self-trained, which is pretty remarkable, especially when you get into this gal over here.
Well, again, that's why I say they're interpretations, because it doesn't lock me into, well, yeah, this is exactly how it's going to look.
Right.
So this one is one that reshaped the head. So there was head binding. Oops, excuse me.
That's okay.
And so I wanted to keep this as just segmented so you could actually see the process that I go through here. So I have the muscle markers, which are the tissue, the depth of the tissues on the face for someone that might have been from that area, maybe an indigenous person from that area down in South America, like a Inca person. So I've got those marked out, and so that's official. And then I start the process of layering over these muscle depth markers and start forming through what I'm seeing. I'm going to turn this a little bit, or you turn your camera a little bit.
There you go, whatever you need.
Okay, so, I'm even showing people how I'm forming the mouth and how I'm forming the nose, and I'm even giving you it's a total cutaway section. And right or wrong, it's giving you a visual. So.
And again, this is hardened like plastic. Now, this is not soft.
Well, this is still not hardened to maximum capacity, but it is a polymer that I usually take a hairdryer and really, after I put the makeup on, because there's I'll put makeup on this face just like I would put makeup on my own face. It's makeup.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's...
And it accepts it? I mean, it will soak
totally
into it?
Yeah, totally accepts it.
Okay.
And then I start drying it with a hairdryer, and that will, kind of complete the process even more.
And then up here, Marcia, what was this indicative of up here?
That's actually a lot of the Inca, specifically, I think, there's a lot of brain surgery going on.
Okay.
I want to say trepanation. Is that?
Don't know.
I think it's trepanation.
Okay.
Which is kind of the word for the brain surgery. So they were actually, and you'll see this everywhere. So if this was a person that was reshaping their head, well, why were they so interested in this brain surgery? Was it because of a pressure that was happening, with the brain and the skull not working together very well? Or, were they coming in here and, trying to tap into the pineal gland and stimulate that? I mean, there's several theories that one could sit here and ask.
But there's no proof on any of this. It's all speculation.
Yeah, it's all speculation.
And then here is the large-scaled, I was talking about earlier, some of her amazing large-scale artwork here. It's all paneled, individual color renderings.
So this is a 3D sculpture. And then with the 3D sculpture, I took obviously a portrait pose, and the 3D sculpture had no regalia, like no clothes, no hair. And so I took that pose into Photoshop, which is still digital, and then worked it in Photoshop and digitally created all of the rest of this to make it emulate that of Edward Curtis.
Even with what the lens distortion would do for that period, right?
No, it's just emulating all of his,
Yeah, it's
everything
amazing.
that you would see during that time period, which subconsciously kind of opens your mind. You're like, I've seen this before, but I don't know this.
And this is nothing. I mean, look at this piece here. You can't really see it as well with the reflection here, but I will... Oh, wait, you guys see this drum here, too. Look at this. This is coming home with us here. I can't miss this. This is Feral by Erin Jackson's latest piece. She's going to be so super thrilled with that. But this is kind of spooky. I'll just say it. I mean, it is. I mean, if you saw that coming out of the jungle at you, I just don't know how much you could stand your own ground, but it's mainly the way the eyes are really setting upon. And this is all out of your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. That again is a 3D sculpture, and then I created the body and any of the essence, the regalia to go with it.
So you don't have anybody pose and then sketch them out?
No,
nothing like that.
I should do that, but no, I don't do that. It's all 3D sculptures.
Okay, and then we got to see these.
Maybe I'm going to pull up a 3D sculpture.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to pan over here. You can see just how. Now this is an actual model of a long head, and you can see it doesn't have that growth plate, the sagittal suture coming down the front of it here, and behind it here, I don't know if we can see that, but there is these little holes that are not found anywhere else but on these elongated skulls. And then here she added amazing realistic wig.
Yeah, that's just real human hair.
Oh wow, okay, even better.
Yeah, I had it
with tropical bird feathers.
The hair that you find, and actually that's a little dark, but most of the hair that you find is kind of an auburn color.
Wow, look at, I'm going to zoom in here on those eyes. Those eyes really, I mean, that looks...
Those are glass eyes.
Those are amazing. My grandmother was a doll maker too, so I was raised with glass eyes all over the house, but she was making little tiny babies and things like that. Nothing as extreme as this. This is, and now we're really getting into something powerful here. This is something right out of one of, gosh, what does that remind me of? What is it? None of these have titles to them, Marcia?
That was actually, it was one of my characters that I developed for this story, and it was called the Panther Shapeshifter.
Oh, there we go. That's the shot at once right there.
Unfortunately, it got a little, I've got to restructure that. It broke a little bit on top. There were some little tusks that came out on the top, and they broke off.
And is he breaking out of a bear, or what? Is that
a panther.
Oh, it is a panther. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is just so extreme. Okay, do you have something there that I can film?
Yeah. So, this, I'll move this here so you can see.
Oh, here's her art studio.
Yeah, here's my art studio.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the sculpture 3D software that I use. And I've got this sculpture actually sitting on a pedestal just so you can see that it is a sculpture.
Wow.
So when you start sculpting, it's just like if you had a ball of clay.
Okay.
And so it starts out like that. Mm-hmm. And so you just, with the tools that you have, you just start finding your recipe with all these little tools. And you just start either adding more material, taking away, or you start pinching or grabbing.
Are you working with a pin like you would?
I'm using a mouse.
The whole time you're mousing?
Yeah. So to give you an example, here's the head. This is the same iconic pose as this piece right here. So this is
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so
but you're really an appreciation for the ET neck.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this, when you think about the balance of how are you walking, how are you moving, how are you talking when you have a head that's like this, if this is natural. Initially, I started creating rather thick, muscular necks because a lot of the researchers said, oh, that's what you need to do because that's probably how it was. And I'm like, no, I think as an architecture, I was in architecture for a while as an illustrator, and one of their little quotes that they always used was form following function.
Okay.
So form follows function. If it follows that in architecture, it's going to follow it with anatomy as well. So if you have a form like this, then in order for that head to be sitting with the neck and the shoulders, it's got to follow the function for the balance. So I've kind of created a little bit of an S-curve here. And I have a full body one that I've created.
Oh, okay.
And it has kind of a little bit of more of an abdomen and tummy, kind of what you see over in Egypt too, if you look at some of the old pieces over there. One thing that I can say about sculpting with this sculpture software is that when I started creating with this this software, you can, everything that's mirrored on one side can be, you know, mirrored on the other side. Whatever you create on one side could be mirrored on the other side. So as I'm developing this side of the face, it's developing the other side of the face at the same time. When you go over to Egypt and you look at all of the sculptures over there, they're so remarkable. I mean, it's just so accurate. Now you can do that, but do you see the amount of sculptures they have over there? I mean, that's a lot of sculptures that are mirrored completely perfectly with the eyes and the cheeks.
Right.
And I mean, it's really, really accurate. And so what I discovered was that, and I've asked alternative researchers that are actually working with Egyptian research, and I said, you know what? They were using technology. They were using this technology. If it wasn't this, it was something like this. And they created their pieces sculpturally with technology. And then they printed them out or lasered them with, you know, like the 3D printing that we have and such. I mean, think about that a little bit. It's quite obvious. I mean, we're doing that now. We're starting to 3D print homes. We're starting to 3D print a lot of things. And I'm like, they were doing the same thing.
Like even organs now.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is just, again, lost information that's being utilized today.
And so you're bringing it back around.
So I'm understanding why I'm using it. Let's put it that way.
And over to your right is the actual 3D model.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, this right here.
So that is an actual 3D print of that.
Yeah, it's a 3D print.
Look at that. I mean, just look how accurate that is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty accurate. It's not like the most defined of printers, but it gave
no,
me...
but I mean, everything's placed in the proper
Yeah.
area. Yeah. So eventually, this whole being will have a whole body.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be animated.
And imagine they're going to start walking and talking.
And speak?
And speak. Why not?
What language will you go with? I mean, is that an argument between you and colleagues?
Is this the 4% that are natural?
Yeah.
I think they're going to have more of a kind of a throat singing.
I like where you're going. I like where your head's at.
The throat singing, I think we're going to have to do that a little bit.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
And that's really entirely up to you.
Well, we'll see what comes through.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, here's some more. I mean, here's another 3D print of another sculpture that I created.
This would be a male. Would you say that's a male?
Well, I don't know, because, you know, a lot of people are like, wait a minute, is this a male or female? And maybe that's because...
It looks like it has pecs, and that's why I went with it.
Well, maybe they are a little androgynous. I don't know. We've never been able to see a full skeleton of an
Well, now
organ.
wait a second. When they find skulls, do they know if they're looking at a female or a male skull?
Well, there are specifics that you look at.
Yeah.
When
Like lower,
to say,
smaller jaw.
this is a female, or oh no, this is a
But
male.
these defy that category because of lack of
The lack
attributes.
of everything. And
I mean, we're talking
enhanced
about the brow
everything.
ridge. Here's exactly what we're talking about. Look at the brow ridge on a cradle board and the lack
And
of a
this
brow
one,
ridge
and
here.
of course, you know, I went with this being female because when you don't have much of a brow ridge, and I knew there was actually an anthropology report on this, so this was a female, and she was pretty good age, but I've reconstructed this skull in a way that follows the trail that I'm very in tune with, which will take me over to Eastern Eurasia.
Okay.
So you have more of an Eastern Eurasia look, obviously.
You have one more in your hand here. I don't know if we saw this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It's got that pouty lip like this.
Yeah, they do have interesting kind of, not, I wouldn't say extreme overbites, but they have, the teeth are affected.
Yeah, that upper lip is really defined. I
Yeah.
mean, it almost shoots out with a little bit of, I mean, I hate to say primate, but there is, you know, that...
Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah,
Well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. The skull over there, as you can see the teeth, they're kind of.
Oh,
this
yeah,
one
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that
But
one's-
there's no examples of double rows of teeth, and that's another.
no, there's no example.
Okay. Is that? But are they finding those? Is that accurate that they're finding?
I don't. I've never. I mean, I don't really know.
Okay.
That's more in association with our mound builders.
Okay.
Our giant-sized people
Gotcha.
that are from our mound building complexes.
All right. Well, CMR Studios, Marcia K. Moore. Beautiful stuff. And anyway, we'll get one more view here. End it on that shot. Thanks, Marcia.